What makes a great game? A compelling story, graphics, great controls, innovative mechanics. But something I believe makes the most memorable moments is the soundtrack. I can almost guarantee that every one of us have a favorite memory in gaming. I'm willing to bet the majority of you can probably hear the music associated with it. And in my opinion, few games have as many memorable soundtracks as the Sonic the Hedgehog series. In this video, I'll be ranking what I believe is the top 5 3D Sonic games based solely on the music. It could be the sheer amount of great songs in the game, or just one banger that hits so hard at just the right time. Of course, this is all my opinion. Feel free to agree or disagree. I would love to hear all of your thoughts down in the comments. I have to start with an honorable mention. This may be one of the most disliked 3D Sonic titles, but love it or hate it, the main theme to Sonic 06, His World, hits. It just does.
I'ma let the fuse, he's a rocket and he's ready to go, cause now the countdown has started and he's ready to blow. He's got the dope sounds bumping and a stereo. That's fast, putting on the show.
For number 5 on this list, I have to give it to Sonic Forces. Not the most popular of the 3D entries, but the game's main track Fist Bump goes way harder than anyone probably expected.
I can't do this alone, even though I am strong. Need something more than me, someone to push.
In those moments where you hit the double boost and the main theme kicks in, blazing through enemies at super speeds just becomes so satisfying.
Together we can show the world what we can do. You are next to me and I'm next to you. Push me on through until the battle's won.
Something I think makes it that much better is how fitting the song is. Just the general tone has this sort of apocalyptic feel to it, which is kinda Sonic Forces' whole thing. And while Fist Bump is definitely the reason Forces deserves a spot on this list, there are definitely a couple other tracks here that deserve some recognition, such as Death Egg, and Arsenal Pyramid. Number 4 goes to Sonic Unleashed. While Sonic Forces has one particular epic song that raises it above other 3D titles, Sonic Unleashed on the other hand is a sort of game like I mentioned in the beginning. A game that has multiple great tracks. It's not that any specific one stands out so much as it's how fitting each track is. I mean, they're great songs, don't get me wrong, but Sonic Unleashed really nails each individual one being tailor-made to the different locations within the game. Rooftop Run, Arid Sands, and Cool Edge. All crafted perfectly for the environment they're set in. And they sound awesome. This isn't to say that Sonic Unleashed doesn't have one in particular that for me really hits. The song that plays during the final boss fight is just orchestral greatness. Considering how epic the fight itself is, and if you know the ending, it's one that may even hit you in the feels. And number 3, I'm going with Sonic Colors. For me, this game taking the spot it does is a little bit of both, having a few good tracks and a killer theme song. And yes, I'm talking about the original Sonic Colors theme. Ultimate's version is fine, but I prefer the OG. There couldn't have been a better theme for Sonic Colors than Reach for the Stars. From that opening cutscene when you see this colorful world where the Wisp are first introduced, to the whole theme of the game being in outer space. And maybe it's just me, but that tempo change at the start of the chorus just gets me every time.
I'll keep on running, I'm gonna reach for the stars, although they look pretty far.
The general soundtrack of this game is very electronic and it fits perfectly. Some other tracks that are memorable for me are ones like Tropical Resort Act 1 and 2, and then, during the final boss fight, an orchestral remix of Reach for the Stars is playing. And that was the final nail in the coffin that solidified this game's spot firmly at number 3 on this list. To be honest, this list was actually kind of difficult for me to come up with. Deciding how to order each game took more time than I'd like to admit, but number 2 on this list is the reason I said in the beginning that one track could elevate a game above the rest, and this game is Sonic Frontiers. The overall tone and music of this game is something akin to Zelda Breath of the Wild, where when exploring the open world, it's sort of soft, ambient music that really only amps up during encounters with enemies. Music does play while in cyberspace, but I don't know, man, none of it really stuck with me. The boss fights, on the other hand,
You never fight, can't hide from what you feel. Come on, no more compromise. This is do or die, and now you've crossed the line. You wake the beast inside.
each of them have incredible music behind them. But the reason I place this game so high on the list is Undefeatable.
I'm hanging on to the other side. I won't give up to the end of me.
The song that plays during the first main boss battle. The combination of the fight itself with the song. As a Sonic fan, if this doesn't get you hyped AF, then I don't know what possibly could. The moment you get to Chaos Emeralds and turn into Super Sonic, the music quietly begins to play. When you hear that and see that look on Sonic's face as he's hovering, staring down the boss, you know you're gonna see some serious shit. And when the fight actually begins and that guitar and drums kick in, it can only be described as something straight out of an anime. It is god tier level when it comes to music / combat combo. And that fight alone places it so high here. Remember when I mentioned that this entire list was difficult for me to come up with? Well, that was entirely true. Except for the number 1 spot. When I started this, it began with number 1 already picked out, and in my opinion, no other games in the series even come close. The best 3D Sonic game based on music is, easily, Sonic Adventure 2. This one not only has the absolute best music in the entire series, but the most tracks that I consider the best compared to any other Sonic game. From the opening level City Escape, to Metal Harbor, to Pyramid Cave, to Pumpkin Hill,
We're at Pumpkin Hill, you ready? I ain't gon' let it get to me, I'm just gon' creep. Down in Pumpkin Hill, I got to find my lost piece. I know that it's here, I can sense it in my feet. The great emerald's power.
I could go on and on. Sonic Adventure 2 just doesn't miss. It's banger after banger, every song feeling perfectly fitted for each and every single level. It feels like this entire adventure is just one epic level after another, and the music plays a large role in that. Obviously, we can't talk about SA2 without mentioning the main theme song, Live and Learn. From the moment I first saw that title screen and you get to hear an instrumental version of it, I fell in love with the song. Everything about it is just perfect in my opinion. It lets you know you're about to go on Sonic's most ambitious adventure yet. I feel like most of us that were around back in those days when the game was new, whether you owned it on the Sega Dreamcast or the Nintendo GameCube like I did, that song plays in your head anytime you think of the game. Now what really made it so legendary is the final boss fight, when we all got to see what we wanted so badly back in the day. Watching Sonic and Shadow team up, go full on super and proceed to dismantle the final boss. Flying through space, alternating between Sonic and Shadow, all while you get to hear the full song in the background with lyrics and all.
Put you right back where you came. Live and learn. Hanging on the edge of tomorrow. Live and learn. From the works of yesterday. Live and learn.
I mentioned back at the beginning of the video that most of us have a favorite memory in gaming, and this is, without a doubt, my personal favorite. I thought it was epic back then, and still to this day, even looking back at it with all the 3D Sonic games that have released since, I still believe Sonic Adventure 2 holds the title for the best 3D Sonic game based on music. You made it to the end. I want to thank all of you so much for watching, and make sure to let me know down in the comments what your favorite 3D Sonic songs are and how would your list look. If you enjoyed this video, then please consider dropping a like and subscribing for future gaming related content. And until next time, Indominus out.